Patrick Beverley just said that James Harden is better than Dwyane Wade. Whew. I'm not going to lie. I had to sit with that one. Because there's a conversation there, skill-wise. But all time, I might have to agree. So, basically, Pat said that Harden is better than Dwyane Wade, and I get where he's coming from, but I think we have to define the word better. So, I'm not the biggest Dwyane Wade fan by any means. I'm also not the biggest James Harden fan by any means. My favorite player is Paul Pierce. I'm sure that tells you a lot about me. And so I grew up watching Dwyane Wade destroying the Boston Celtics, as much as I would hate to admit it. When they finally got LeBron, I still remember that nightmare when LeBron dropped 45 on us at the Garden. But Dwyane Wade was there, and he was well past his prime then, but even then I could recognize how good he was. So what I'm going to do is I want to watch or react to some highlights. And they're not just going to be any highlights, they're playoff games. So I found one of the biggest one of James Harden's biggest playoff games, which is in 2019 against Golden State. And then I'm also going to react to one of Dwyane Wade's biggest games, which was against the Mavs in 2006. So let's get right into it. Oh, start that again. So let's see. Obviously, James Harden's signature step back. Now look at that, though. It's against, this might have been Kevin Durant's best defensive year. Hand right in his face. That's nothing. Another one. Great way to start the game. Notice how they just did this fake action over here, the double away screen. Assuming for one of the shooters, that was Austin Rivers. And then they had this guy in the corner, so that I'm sure it was another shooter, so that there couldn't be any help. And they just let him. They just put this guy on an island and let James Harden go to work. Oh my goodness, look at that move. Get into the Baja, get into the body, knockdown. So I think this is when James Harden was playing like the point for him, for the Houston Rockets. And I remember that season was kind of the first time that we'd seen James Harden play that primary ball handling role. So all the decisions came from him. He was the point guard. He was the leading scorer. As you can see, he was dishing out assists, drawing defenders, and hitting those roll guys. Clint Capella was amazing back then. So that was really James Harden's role. That was the Houston Rockets' offense. They shot a lot of threes, and they just put the ball in James Harden's hands. Look at that. I don't think we had seen before this season anyone doing this. Incredible. So they just surrounded James Harden with a bunch of shooters, bunch of catch and shoot shooters, and one lob guy. That was the D'Antoni's offense at the time, from what I remember. And this is in the playoffs. Oh my goodness. That was disgusting. Oh my goodness. Sorry, Steph. But that is like that. That's incredible. Just getting downhill, boom, stopping on a dime, and then stepping back. Just too easy. One of the best defenders in the league on him, Klay Thompson, and it just looks like he's just walking into those buckets. That's just incredible display of body control. He has the peace of mind to find shooters and not only be like he was just in a different flow state this season. If anyone remembers James Harden on the Rockets, this is against the best defender in the league, arguably at the time, against one of the best defensive teams in the league at the time. So this isn't an easy thing to do. Incredible. Now, Patrick Beverley may want to change his statement to James Harden was a better passer than Dwyane Wade, arguably anybody who had ever played the game of basketball. Like, his ability to pass and hit that roll guy might be better than anyone we'd ever seen in the league. Let's watch a bit more of this. Boom. Down 3. Step back on your old teammate. Take that. Wow. The beard. And that's against Iguodala, one of the best perimeter defenders the league had ever seen. Like this isn't child's play, guys. This is different. This is different. Incredible. Now let's go to Dwyane Wade. So we've seen Harden. We've seen what he could do. Obviously not all he could do, but just a bit of his skill set at the time. Now let's watch Dwyane Wade. And I'll let you guys judge. Who is more dynamic? Who is more electrifying? Who is better? And if Patrick Beverley was correct or not. Look at that change of pace. Downhill. Oh my goodness. Hold on. So when you talk about, so as a coach, we always try to teach kids, yo, come off the screen tight. Come off that screener's shoulder. You don't want to leave any room for the defender to squeeze through. So hold on, let me just put this at 0.6. So look at this. It's Shaq setting a screen, so it's hard to get through that. But look, so this guy's at the nail, well, a bit further than the nail. That's Jason Terry. And look how he squeezed. He was almost about to snake. Oh, he did snake that screen. But just look how tight he came off it. Like, that's incredible. Shoulder to shoulder. Sorry, I always have to add a little teaching method. They used to call him Flash. That was Dwyane Wade. Good pass. Again, just watch how tight he comes off those screens. Very different game plan back then. So you have two bigs, a massive guy, Shaq. You also have a hustle guy in Haslam. And then you have three guards. Very different to how D'Antoni ran his Rockets. Good steal. What happened there? So he misses, acts like he's getting back. Boom. Great steal. Very different game. Very different game. You didn't have Clint Capella rolling to the hoop. You have Haslam just doing that little short roll or that little short pop into that elbow, into that free throw. Very different game than James Harden. His guy's backing down. He's backing up. Boom, he pulls up mid-range. Now, today, that would probably be considered a bad shot. Midi. Cash. This was against a very good Maverick team as well. Now, obviously, they lost this year. 2006, Miami Heat won. Now, look how far they were loading. Look how far they were loading up on Dwyane Wade. So you got the screener coming. So they don't want him to come off tight anymore. They bring in, instead of this guy waiting here in that nail or at the elbow, he's coming all the way across. And Wade's like, all right, let me flatten the defense out a little bit. He has to guard one of these bigs. And now this guy has two, corner and the top guy. Gets it to that corner. He gets there too late. Knocks it down. It's a great read. And look, that's why I like watching playoffs, because teams start to make adjustments. And obviously, during the regular season, teams make adjustments as well. But it's a lot more prevalent when you're playing against a team, when you're trying to beat a team 4 times in a series. Splash. Beautiful midi. My gosh. Down screens. Coming off. About to curl. Very different way to how Dwyane. Oh my God. Like, look. Didn't even give this guy time. It's his fault. He probably should have been here already. Look how tightly he comes off that screen. That's incredible. Look at the angle he's at. Look at that angle that he's almost falling over. That looks like the logo. That looks like the Jerry West logo. Oh my goodness. Just gets behind the screener. Get him up. Now, after you've made a couple middies already, defender's going to jump. Double teams now. So I wonder why they didn't do this to Harden that game. Very different. So he still had some ISOs from the top of the key, but obviously now guys could come in because it's not like how the Rockets had 4 shooters, 4 shooters on the perimeter and 1 big guy. Back then, guys' defenses could kind of sink in to prevent those drives, especially from the top of the key. So it's just funny to see how the game has evolved. Damn, Dirk. Look at his legs. Let's go, Wade. Game's tied. Minute 15 on the clock. See what happens. Getting that double. Oh, thought it was going to be a double drag screen. Just gets to his spot. Cash. And the thing is, it just feels like the defense knew where he was going. He knew where he was going. And there was nothing they could do about it. Same as Nowitzki. But sort of like James Harden as well. Everyone knew he was going to shoot that step back three. And there was nothing defenses could do about it. So that's a similar trait that they have. Now we're watching the whole. Whew. Down 2, 7 seconds to go. Gets it downhill. Protects the ball with his shoulder. Boom. Bump. Bang. They got to stop games going to overtime. So now they're forcing him to give that up. Obviously, having Shaq is a pretty nice feat. Double team, doesn't care. Triple team, doesn't care. Gets to the rack. Amazing. Amazing. So where do we go from here? So let's break this down now. I think if we're going to break down the differences between them, in terms of skill and offense and who had the better toolbox offensively, I think we could all agree that James Harden wins that. Could knock down threes and get downhill. But just his ability to shoot and play one-on-one was just, that they're both Hall of Fame type of caliber players, but James Harden wins that. Playoff moments, I think James Harden's had some pretty big playoff moments. Defensively, Dwyane Wade wins that. I don't think anyone could argue that. Who had the bigger presence in the playoffs? I think Dwyane Wade wins that because Dwyane Wade was a winner. Multiple championships. Multiple all-defense first teams. Multiple all-NBA first teams. I think Dwyane Wade, when you combine everything that they have, is a better all-time player. That's why he's in the top 75. That's why he is a champion. But I understand what Patrick Beverley was also saying, that James Harden could be considered better because he had done something that we had never seen in the NBA before, offensively. Someone who changed the rule book, someone who innovated the way the game's being played. We see a bunch of mini James Hardens in the NBA right now. We don't see a bunch of mini Wades. Now, you can take that how you want. That could be a slight to Dwyane Wade, or a tick for Dwyane Wade. It just depends how you see the game. A lot of teaching moments, again, for kids. Watch how they got these buckets. Watch their styles of play. What worked, what didn't. That's up to you to study. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. If you're serious about training and you're in the Brisbane area, link is in the description. If you enjoy some of these longer basketball talks, you could find more on the Searchers podcast. Links also in the description. I don't know what to call this series yet, but thank you for tuning in. Hit the comments. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Peace.